All right, let's look at lesson 9 for this week, week 3. H Radio 223 part-timers. Welcome to your lesson. My name is Chris. I'm your lecturer for the year. So you have also, I've met two of you this past weekend, and obviously we've had either one-on-one conversations or communication via the WhatsApp group as well. Please note that we have alternating, should I say, weekends where one is live on campus. And for example, this week is pre-recorded, right? So we're going to do 3 lessons per week. And I will see you again next week on campus for your contact sessions. H Radio 223 part-timers. This is again lesson 9. We're going to be looking at audio production systems, page 266 to 268. The Internet and Social Media System, 268 to 270. Studio Engineering and Equipment with 270 to 274. And outside broadcasting equipment, which we have spoken about. We have played we played together through some videos, which should have now given you a better idea as to how an outside broadcast kind of looks and how it works. Definitely, I also wanted to, on purpose, as I said, include the TV side of an outside broadcast, just because it's so much more complicated, man, as well compared to our television. 274 to 279 is where you find that reference in Cullinan and Nash's Next Level Radio book. Again, you're using 2 textbooks this year: Next Level Radio and Beyond Powerful Radio from Valerie Geller. Okay. I am going to start with audio production systems, right? Just a little bit of a chat about them, and then I want to show you a piece of myself just editing a donut promo using Audition. If we talk about audio production systems, uh, audio producers, so sound engineers, need to actually go and become qualified, right? Terrible English there, as usual, but become qualified in audio, like in sound engineering. I say audio production is a very broad, I mean, it's a very broad umbrella term. So, particular sound engineers go, for example, to the ASE out in Auckland Park, and they go because they are probably the biggest legacy, I say, school of accreditation that you can go to. Of course, you know that you're going to learn it this year in Sound Engineering 1, and you should, because you are doing radio, you should do Sound Engineering 2 as well next year. But sound producers, so ourselves as DJs, we have to learn how to work with audio production systems because we need to, edit pre-recorded interviews. We need to edit sound bites. We need to edit the vox pops. We need to edit WhatsApp voice notes that do come through, and the rest is again left up to the more professionals, right, in the studio. Sorry, at the station, right, who will then go and work on imaging packages for the station, adverts, maybe pre-recorded live reads, everything else that you might hear that's not either music or, I suppose, talk. Yeah, those are the two. The spoken word there, it says that the actual music have to be, everything else from the spoken word needs to be produced. Again, mixing, implementing, processing sounds. We'll look at some of that in just a moment. In audio production, edit suites, you should be able to at least use them to import and export various formats for the editing process and record audio from one or more inputs and store recording in the computer's memory as digital audio. So when you are navigating through an audio production system, again, I said, and I'm going to show you Adobe Audition, particularly this Adobe Audition 3. There are releases, I think, to 6 or 7 at the moment. You can also find a mobile version, so an app version for your phone that's free and easy to use, as well as so many others that are available to you to actually use: free software, Audacity, GarageBand, and then paid for software, which we'll have a look for or look at the a couple of those Pro Tools. There, particularly sound engineers will be proficient in Pro Tools. You will also learn Logic, right, in your sound engineering subject or semester. So you need to know how to edit start, stop times, durations of audios in a timeline, You might use multi-tracks, right? To use to combine different effects, different different audio clips to produce one coherent clip. We want to also be able to know how to work with different volumes, pan from one channel to another channel. We'd like to also know how and when to use certain filters and effects, including compressing the audio, expanding the audio, using flanging, reverbs, audio noise reductions, and, equalization, excuse me, to change that audio to suit a really good professional slick output or product, right? End product there. So as we move along, some of these are basic concepts. I would consider these that are listed here as essential concepts that you should learn how to and know how to identify one and also explain and in your own words what exactly that's used for. But the biggest advice that I can give you, yes, we can walk you through this, but the way that I learned using sound editing software is one, obviously be proactive about it. You have to learn it anyway. And the second thing is every time you do want to learn something new, so let's say you want to clean up noise reduction. So you want to apply noise reduction, but you want to apply it to a really, like you maybe are attending a conference, there's a lot of people talking in the background. You do want to keep the ambience, but you want to really know how to reduce the actual noise and that maybe there's popping that happens on the mic, or there might be too many people that are too close to the actual recording. Then I would go and I would YouTube in that particular case, and I'd say reduce ambience noise reduction process in Adobe Audition, and then it would give me something that's quite particular and helpful, for example. So we would also then understand that once we have the software, or sorry, not the software that obviously gives us the output or the end product, we then play that through on radio. Make sure that it is not. Ideally, we don't want to work in a mono, but a stereo set format, right? Okay, so we're looking at stereo. We can both left and right, even though mono will broadcast through, I'm saying both the left and right at once. Suppose again, people don't have a left or a right speaker or whatever it is, panning across different, like I said, they're panning across different outputs will also then affect what you are. It might sound fancy, but you would affect obviously the end product and it being heard. That's why some people do like sticking to mono. So it is just one channel and it will be heard across. But we do like the stereo effect, preferably, right? That's standard industry standard. Convert between different audio file formats at the end of it. So many different file formats. We choose the software predominantly for three reasons: the stability of the software, the speed and the response of the software, and the control interface, what we feel comfortable with. I suppose to a large extent, we have that choice, but at a station, they will have something that they have paid license for. And again, qualified professionals will work. Sound engineers predominantly use Pro Tools, and for the rest of us, Adobe Audition, Logic Pro X, Audacity, free software, Reaper, FL Studio are also options. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to actually share screen. I'm just going to share the sound there as well. Here of me editing a donut promo. Donut promo, what's a donut promo? It's when you hear like last time on whatever the 5FM drive, and then they have 30 seconds or 28 seconds of a piece that stood out, whatever it may be, right? I just selectively just picked something that I recorded a long time ago while I was on 947, and I don't have the imaging for 947, so I'm just using like generic uh, sound samples. And I'm gonna play a little bit of, and I'm just gonna skip over certain parts to get to the point, right? But have a look at how I'm working through Adobe Audition 3. Nice and simple, man. There's the sound file, as you can see there. So levels, I've obviously gone and equalized that, used a certain processor. to make sure that I can get a good, nice variation of, what's music and what's obviously the vocals that are coming through there, left and right channel on there. And again, let's have a quick listen. As I did mention in the previous lesson, I just want to show you quickly. It's not going to take too long. I don't want to go too much in depth with it, but just using the sound editing software. So I'm working in Audition. I don't necessarily have again, as I mentioned, the ID 4947 right here, which is something that you would include, for example, in a donut promo. But I do have, again, I do have one of my very old links that are here. I think I'll take maybe this one. I'll just have a playthrough and show you that there are some options here. This is predominantly just actually requests and interacting with the listeners. And just to take like sound effects that actually might fit, quickly put it together and mix it down. All right, so let's listen quickly to what we have actually here. Okay, so for example,
what's that? Over what? 35 minutes. Big enough. Just a moment. Taking those requests. Hello, Chanel. How are you?
I'm really good, and yourself?
I'm fantastic. Wow.
Hi, Joburg.
Lots of BioPlus, lots of pizza, lots of KFC. I'm good. So don't worry about me. Hello, on the line, we got Elizabeth. How are you?
I'm all right, can you?
You are not... Well, I mean, how is it going? You're actually phoning us from hospital, which is like, I mean, I can't help but smile because that is awesome. I didn't like... What do you have? Like a little radio there? Is DSTV on? What's going on?
It's just my cell phone. I've got my headsets on.
That's my
I was listening to Take 40 SA the whole day.
Mark will be very happy to hear that. Very happy. I think glass...
I like this part here. Actually, I might actually put that in there.
And we will just basically give you those tickets if one of our jocks cross to you live on air any
that's a bit of promotion
night tonight, right in between all those fantastic mixes. On the line we got Beryl. Beryl, how are you?
I'm fine, thanks, and you?
Fantastic. So I phoned Beryl up and I'm like, hi, who am I speaking to? I mean, I sounded quite polite. I know I sounded like a telesales person there for a second, like I was going to sell you insurance at the coast or something, yeah. And Beryl's like, who are you looking for? I'm like, whoa, sorry, ma'am. I'm like, whoosh, okay. So I'm a bit like, do you have kids, Beryl?
No, I don't.
Okay, when you do have, they're going to listen to you because I'm telling you, I was ready to mow the lawn or something.
Okay, so that actually makes that's quite cool. For a donut promo, I'm going to take that little part there. You'll see in just a moment. I'm just going to add my multi-track here, and I think this is the one that I normally use. We see here. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so this one's a nice one to start off with, maybe. So I'm going to just cut that out and put that over here. Let me just see some of the others. I don't think these, because there's many different effects here. Yep.
Bass, bitch, break. Check this out. Check it out.
I'm just going to quickly forward past certain ones. Right, just because when I did the playback on that, I realized there was some swearing in that imaging. Let's not do that again. I'm just facing some new ones, so I'll just have it separately. Okay, cool. Let's see what the rest also have there. And I think I've got what I'm gonna use here. Okay, so okay, I'm gonna come back. What did I do there? What's going on there? There's two of them. Editing, what fun, eh? Okay, anyway, I want specifically, I said I want to go to Beryl. I'm just going
right in between all those fantastic mixes. On the line, we got Beryl. Beryl, how are you?
Copy that one, put into a new one as well, so just get it separate. Okay, so let's multi-track it. Let's take that 2 here. And let's also, we said there, I said I want to take this one over here. So let's go here.
I know you're gonna dig this.
Yeah, so let's start from the beginning.
I know you're gonna dig this. Right between all those fantastic mixes. On the line, we got Beryl. Beryl, how are you?
I'm fine, thanks, and you?
Fantastic. So I phoned Beryl up and I'm like, hi, who am I speaking to? I mean, I sounded quite polite. I know I sounded fantastic. So I phoned Beryl up and I'm like, hi, who am I speaking to? I phoned Beryl up and I'm like, hi, who am I? Phoned Beryl up and I'm like, hi, who am I speaking to? I mean,
Yep.
So I phoned Beryl up and I'm like, hi, who am I speaking to? I mean,
Like that makes sense. I'm gonna try and make sure I fit the. I'm gonna try fit the 31 if possible. Trying to find the end one. Maybe this one. And I want to see if there's anything more dramatic that I can maybe put together. Nope. That's okay, I suppose. And listen to some of these. And that's pretty cool. That one's pretty cool. I can kind of use it with the other ones as well. So I can just make sure I've got that here. Let me see what else I've got here. And maybe I can just take that also. So let me just, okay, so let's cut this here.
Beryl up and I'm like, hi, who am I speaking to? I mean, I sounded quite polite. I know I sounded like a telesales person there for a second, like I was going to sell you insurance at the coast or something, yeah. And Beryl's like, who are you looking for? I'm like, whoa, sorry, ma'am. I'm like, whoosh, okay. Looking for, I'm like, whoa, sorry, ma'am. I'm looking for, I'm like, whoa, sorry, ma'am. I'm like, whoosh, okay. Sorry, ma'am. I'm like, whoosh, okay. I'm like, whoosh, okay. Ma'am, I'm like, whoosh, okay. So, I'm like, whoosh, okay.
Get that.
I'm like, whoosh, okay. So I'm a bit like, do you have kids? Do you have kids, Beryl?
No.
A bit like, do you have kids? Do you have kids, Beryl?
No, I don't.
Okay, when you do have, they're going to listen to you because I'm telling you, I was ready to like, I don't know, mow the lawn or something.
Get that. So, yeah.
Sorry, ma'am. A bit like, do you have kids? Do you have kids, Beryl? Like, whoa, sorry, ma'am. A bit like, do you have kids? Do you have?
Fine. There's a bit of a, I shouldn't have distorted there, but anyway, it's me screaming over the mic.
Whoa, sorry, ma'am. A bit like, do you have kids? Do you have kids, Beryl?
No, I don't.
Okay, when you do have, they're going to listen to you because I'm telling you, I was ready to like, I don't know, mow the lawn or something.
Okay, so I'm gonna leave that little laugh. That's pretty cool. Just quickly. No, let's just leave that here. Leave that here. Okay, and then I said I wanted a bit of a mix. Let's just see this one. No, we said this one. I think it was this one as well. One definitely. What's this one? No, we don't want the I in there. So I'm gonna take that out. Yeah.
Something. Or something. Or something.
Okay, sounds like okay. We just see. Yeah, let me just get this here. Okay, I'm gonna listen to that. I can take that one, I suppose that one out. Maybe mix it on top on over. So yeah.
Mow the lawn or something.
Okay, so what I do, I'm sure you followed. Again, just wanted to give a quick example. So that's just about. So what I want to make it, let's say 30 seconds to show that's super important to get it there. What I am at currently is well, I'm sitting at, yeah, it says most, yeah, 32 seconds. I want to move it up just a little bit to, I'm going to have to move it, not just a little bit there, maybe put it over to get that end here, exactly 30 seconds. You see that there, okay? That length is not 19 seconds, okay? So we're not looking at that, we're looking at the selection. Let's do a total selection. There we go. 30 seconds is fine. Length is 30 seconds. So that's cool. I'll be happy with that. Let's just listen over. A little too soon. Hold on.
Ready to, like, I don't know, mow the lawn or something.
Maybe so.
Or something.
Yeah, we need to just put it just a little bit more this way, a little bit more this way. It's gonna. Hold on.
To, like, I don't know, mow the lawn or something.
Cool. That sounds great, and that looks like I'm gonna just select them all. I'm gonna go to mix down, master out, or input or output, whatever it is. Right. Okay. Then now I can see that there's kind of that discrepancy in length, right? So what I want to do firstly, what I normally do, just some basic one, I normally put a dynamic processing on it. So let me just get that down here. I use a classic softening. Obviously, the effects are not the same for logic, etc. Whatever it may be, there's variations, but again, I get that all the same at the same level, as you can see. Then I just add a multi-band broadcast to just liven that up just a little bit. And let me just quickly just see. Let me just cut this off to make it really 30 seconds. Give me a second. That's cool. Right. A little bit further. I want obviously tight. Right, that's good. And you can see in total, they're telling 30 exactly 30 seconds. So that's cool. Now let's listen to the entire finished product.
I know you're gonna dig this.
So I phoned Beryl up and I'm like, hi, who am I speaking to? I mean, I sounded quite polite. I know I sounded like a telesalesperson there for a second, like I was going to sell you insurance at the coast or something, yeah. And Beryl's like, who are you looking for? I'm like, whoa, sorry, man. Do you have kids? Do you have kids, Beryl?
No, I don't.
Okay, when you do have, they're going to listen to you because I'm telling you, I was ready to, like, I don't know, mow the lawn or something.
I'd listen to me. I always listen to me. So that's great. That's nice. So what I do is I then just save it. I'm just gonna quickly pick a different destination for it. Just gonna put this at Boston Media House for now. Okay, and I'm gonna go here. So as we said there, I think I'm just that's cool, and I know that it pretty much showed something cool and new for you to get better acquainted with software side of things. Okay, so let's continue with the lesson, and let's look at different aspects now. So the internet and social media systems. We know how to include. Well, obviously we've explained the massive importance of how internet systems or online systems, social media systems are very important to the well-rounded world, the full product of our radio medium, right, and our radio station. And we know, like this, we just want to explain a little bit more as how to this technology actually works and how it's integrated into our everyday broadcasts, right? So the internet obviously fundamentally has changed the way that we live life. And not only is it distributing audio products, but we can also enrich, quality of images, moving images, videos, GIFs, that type of stuff when we're talking about moving images. However, infrastructure that require internet to vary across different countries. We do have countries that are currently using 5G. We also have 5G here in South Africa, but the predominant amount of users are preferring and also only using maybe at a maximum, I think on average at 4G, right? We also have again the ISDN, ACL, fiber optic technology, 3G, and so on and so forth. And the technology has obviously significantly increased. Doesn't matter in what sector you are living here in South Africa. We have all moved forward, a couple of steps forward, definitely from the last 2 to 5 years. The democratization, excuse me, of information. So, in other words, internet that empowers any individual with a laptop or a mobile phone to develop and share content is something that, again, we feel and we are living every single day. So, yes, I, I don't know the exact statistic, but we can all assume that's quite safely pretty much every single South African, very high 90% of South Africans own a mobile phone. It might not be all smartphones, right? But definitely digital, I would say digital phones. So we're moving a little bit further. Definitely, we're not using any type of hybrid of the analog digital, but definitely something that's got some kind of smart screen or whatever it may be, right? In the world of radio, it's brought about many benefits and a couple of threats as well. So the benefits that we can use is that we can use the content platforms to be able to fully extend or further extend our station in many different spaces as well. Podcasts, definitely, again, online content, metrics that can sell digital advertising. And again, we have spoken and we will continue to speak about the podcasting space and its benefits as an individual independent outlet, an extra way that we can broaden this product that we have. It doesn't always have to be these recycled elements that we have on air. We do put that, yes, as stations, we must repurpose the software, and that is not something new. It's been done for many, 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 many years, even before quote unquote podcasts or the term podcasting here in South Africa became popular, right? So part of popular terminology. Right, but we do encourage to create independent and new um, uh, the content that exists only online, right? So that people can go, our listeners can go enjoy the product further. From people that might not be, let's say, in the lineup, but are contributors, or they're part of our news team, or whatever it may be. They might be freelance content creators that we might contract. Doesn't matter. Some disadvantages, though. Obviously, here in South Africa, we have one of the highest costs of data in the world. We have slow line connections. Sometimes, when there is load shedding, some of the networks do not work for that particular load shedding space or bracket. Um, a lot of them have moved past it, so you can use most of the networks now through load shedding. It doesn't really matter. It still slows down connection. It still makes it unstable. We have that infrastructure that is not quite up to standard to in comparison to the rest of the world. Low reliability, excuse me, of wireless connections that can compromise streaming quality, right? So we'd like to obviously have streaming products or, like I say, streaming added value, but like, is it worth it? Is it being consumed the way that we want it? I'm saying to that certain standard of quality. Optic cabling 3, 5G technology. Radio stations, of course, can access homes and businesses with ease and low cost as well. So a fiber optic cable can carry 600 times more data than obviously a standard telephone line cable, which is, yes, while we have for a very long time had fiber optics I'd say installed, but they're around our coastal lines here in South Africa, and obviously tie us up with the rest of the world as well, right? So most radio stations now stream their broadcasts online. They do. All of us are available online. Again, we have obviously independents that stream only online, so they're not terrestrial or digital. I say DAB sites, whatever it may be. We don't have DAB available here, but we do have online stations, extensions of, like, for example, East Coast Radio has East Coast Gold. I think that is only, yeah, that is they're only online, but they're an extension of the East Coast brand, has a lot of followers, still is being counted in Rams, etc. But I say it woke up. Its awakening was purely on digital. Has a lot of support, which is nice as well. And again, an independent sister that has been created without licensing. No need for it. Um, I don't know the semantics, so please, per se, don't hold me accountable. But I do know that the conceptualization, the of that particular station. And there's another I think there's another station, I can't remember the top of my head. We did cover it in the Rams. That also has also expanded to one digital expansion as well. But East Coast was the first one to do it here in South Africa. Anyway, it's almost like I shouldn't have mentioned that last part because again I would I need to remember that damn radio station now. Anyway, okay, anyway, many radio stations also have mobile applications. Of course, the app needs to have many different functionalities that add value to our overall end product, right? And this has increased the number of listeners that a radio station can obtain. So I'm just going to, so in the studio, we have kind of looked at this, but a little bit, it was a little bit simpler in the previous lecture. Microphones, we have obviously the USB players and the CD processor and transmitter to go out to, so the, again, obviously and what am I getting to? Yeah, I also want to be able to go to Centec transmitters here. And then, obviously that is out to our feeder areas, right? Okay. Anyway, off-air checks, feeds to telephone lines and outside broadcasts, and the desk output for recordings. Before we get to the listener, monitors, headphones, other speakers, right? All go into the mixing desk, an audio cloud computer, our telephone lines, and our outside sources for the outside broadcast, right? And then all goes out to the listener over there. All right. Like I said, it's literally a bit of a rinse cycle repeat of the previous one that we had in the previous lesson. But if we look at studio engineering and equipment, as we've just mentioned there's the mixing consoles, the microphones, the headphones. So the headphone distribution amplifier, right? The broadcasting computers, and the new SharePoint. So where bulletins are emailed and slugs and new clips are loaded. Again, it could be an independent system as well. That's they is most likely in commercial. Yes, they are. For the newsreaders themselves, their own booths, as we said before, telephones and hybrid telephone lines, right? Computer workstations, video display monitors, CDs and mixing desks, and CDJs, right? So, um, CD, uh, what am I saying? CD systems as well. Okay. All right. Also, including that, we can have flash or USB players. We have on-air clocks. So in studio, want to be able to know exactly what the right time is, and also we work it down to the second. Sometimes because we look at our clocks and we look at the way that we, in terms of seconds, we need to play out certain adverts, get the news out at certain times, get certain billboards out, whatever it may be, right? On-air lights, so the on and the off-air one, the red and the green light to indicate whether we are on air, so there must be no interruptions from outside the studio. And when we're off-air, so it's safe to, let's say, enter the studio. Server rooms and air conditioning needs to be really cold for the server rooms. We have a large amount of computers, well, I say servers that save all of the shows, but not only that, so much more data that controls, I'm saying, the entire station. I said all the systems in the station. Source compression and signal compressor, right, and transmitter compressors, right. It all serve their role in making sure that as we, so for example, if you want to understand what compression is like, we on our side might, we might, we have different levels that we're working at different channels, right? So let's say we're speaking on a mic, we're playing music on a certain channel, we're playing jingles on another channel. We might have a DSTV input line that's coming through. The compressors, for example, the source to the signal and transmitter compressors, each have their role to play in making that a more well balanced holistic sound, right? If you are pitching, sorry, not peaking, sorry, peaking, and you will not hear that actually in studio. Other side, it will just start to distort, right? We'll actually need to be very aware and diligent on that. But the compressors try as much as I say realistically possible to make sure that there's a good balance. Um, and again, a good, well slick and a well orchestrated output there. A pitch panel for routing and connecting link sources, right? And a reliable clock, right? So this is an old example, an old mixing desk, right? But predominantly used. I mean, I remember using this at Tux. Again, that was also like 20 odd years ago. We had one of these ones, and then at it's at some point everyone kind of has enough money to spend on a obviously more professional desk or digital desk. So this again looks like again standard. This works better for outside, well, certain outside broadcasts as a backup desk as well. But it does the job definitely. Again, when a station starts out, they can only afford cheaper desks, right? There are different channels. Okay, there's an on and a PFL, pre-fader, right? And then obviously just in terms of how the disk is customized, right? We will use a different like pans and different again. These different settings here can be set, customized differently. So here should be the overall um, volume, right? Can't really see it, right? So I'm not going to lie to you. This could be also just maybe monitor speakers. That makes sense. So the monitors going out here, and this would be the overall. Right. Let's look at a couple more slides with equipment, microphones, pop mics, getting a good micro, pop, I said pop, so pop filters over here, what we put here to reduce like the pop, and I say it's not just a pop, it's the way that we might over enunciate certain aspects of the way that we deliver certain words as well through our, the sentence structure that we do use on air, our delivery on air. So the pop filters are there to also just make sure that there's a bit of a filter between the actual mic here, which will be a lot, it'll be a lot more distinct, I say. So if you have a little bit of it's not speech delivery impediment, is a better way to say it. We put the pop filter on that as well. Also keeps it clean and takes the germs in, whatever it may be, and then we go and replace the pop filter as it is. But we need a good, like we need a great microphone rather than invest in a great microphone that is excuse me. All right, unidirectional or multi-directional. Ideally, multi-directional ones instead of unidirectional, so one-sided. So unidirectional, if you move to this side or that side of mic, you sound like you are outside the station, right, or broadcasting in another room. Multi-directional, you can kind of move around the mic and it will pick up uh, a good, obviously a good delivery of that. It'll process a good, um, again, sound, right, that will be heard on the other side of the speaker, by the listener. CDs and USB players and play out systems. So we do use either CDs or USB players as primary audio input, or no, as backup systems, as I said there, in case something does go wrong. So we again will either have on a CD or a USB a pre-mixed hour, 2 hours, even 3 hours, in case something does go wrong with our actual desk and we need some technical people to come in there, technical engineers to fix what's going on. It could just, I mean, the desk could just collapse, say, and need some maintenance. And might have to have enough time to switch over to our B studio, our second studio, backup studio, normally used for production, right? Okay. Anyway, we have our telephone balancing units and hybrid units, which convert the telephone signals into separate feeds and then send them into obviously or to the studio mixing desk. We have our monitoring headphones, so that's ours, and our loudspeakers, so our headphones that we put on our heads as DJs, and then we have the loudspeakers. As I said, there'll be speakers in the studio itself. For both on and off air. So, production studio is generally the sound producer's or sound engineer's workspace, and then can double as a backup studio, as I just mentioned, in case something goes wrong. The mixing desk will usually have a master fader with a radio mixing channel, which, should I say, radio mixing channel does not typically have. So the master fader, as I said to you, there was a volume button, and then there would be a master fader, so that will be allocated here, right? One of the disks. Okay. more. So this could also be. I mean, we could assign one of these channels as a master fader, but it won't. It'll ideally be situated here. Okay, just so that you can get a better idea as to what it is that I am talking about. All right. So microphones need to be placed in sufficient space. So placed in sufficient space between, and there must be sufficient space between them. Excuse me, to ensure that the sound doesn't bleed from one mic to another mic, and we don't get some kind of like weird feedback. A line of sight with all other microphones must always be maintained, right? So that no matter how many people there are in the studio, they can all see each other and also communicate clearly. So we have three mics, right? One would be here, one would be here, and one would be here. That doesn't really make sense without a picture, but you understand. So I can talk over here to this person and that person, they can talk to me and that person, etc. Right? So we want to be able to measure that out. It becomes uncomfortable, and if you don't have eye contact with that other person, then who are you talking to, right? That's going to be jarred and quite awkward, obviously, way of communicating with another person that's directly like across from you. Square 90-degree corners are avoided as they cause standing waves that give the room a mid to low frequency of amplification, which then causes the sound over presenters' headphones to be quite hollow. And that's so I've been in studios where it might sound hollow on the headphones, it comes out quite clearly, but it is very disorienting as to a presenter. Disorienting, it doesn't matter, right? Same thing, different verb, whatever it may be, right? Adjective. I don't know. The corners in a studio will often be split into 120-degree corners to avoid these standing waves. So as I was pointing out, the little triangle there is that kind of good balance, the 120, right? Or I mean, it's 120 corner, 120-degree corner. Yeah, would give a good triangle in either one. If let's say we had three of them, right? It's necessary to line the room with thick padding and absorption material, so soundproofing the studio itself, very important, right? If you're on a makeshift studio, you can put beds up, so bed mattresses. We did that when we started KSA, and it was literally broadcasting out of someone's bedroom. Put up the like I say, the mattresses, and that would provide great soundproofing. It'd be fine until you get enough money, man, and you can do what you need to do. Right. There are some links here for because I want to explain podcasting in a separate lecture, right? But how to make a podcast, knowing that you must have, or unless you intentionally are seeking to record your podcast outside with some ambience and the environment is set to obviously contribute to what it is that you're trying to do in the podcast, you should look to recording in a professional space with good professional mics that are connected to your PC, right? Well tried and tested audio software. And again, spend money on the mics, please. You're going to get a lot of mics that cost well. They cost effective, but are really poor quality, right? The outside broadcast, just to revisit this again, because we did explain it to quite some length, right? I want to just look at how the technology works here. So let's start here again, back at the mixing desk here with the headphones, the person that might be controlling the desk. And there'll be DJs outside at the outside broadcast itself, right? So again, monitors in the studio, same thing. Off-air checks, so the pre-faded checks, the process in the transmitter to our aerials on the side here. And again, same thing, feed to the telephone and the OB, and the desk output for recording goes to the listener. But on this side, we add a little bit to the graph here, right, to the infograph. So we look at the mixing desk back at the OB like we saw in that video before. There's a microphone that's attached to the, obviously, the equipment is like the speakers or whatever, the headphones, mic and everything is attached to the mixing desk. Mixing desk is attached to playback system, right? We have the OB feed and the codec, right, at the OB. that is connected to, so the codec is there to obviously just convert, right? The decoder, right? Converter decoder, right? Is that right? Is that what codec stands for? Well, I do know that it's conversion decoder, right? Technology used to transfer the data codec at the studio, so it goes out into a certain obviously type, so it's a digital signal comes back and is converted to whatever it is that we need up here, ideally an analog, so a radio frequency right back here goes out to the transmitter frequency to the listener, right? Okay, right. So with an OB, just look at the just how many of each of these mic equipment pieces are needed. So so a PA system, something that obviously people can hear you. So CDJs, right? So uh, again, just CDs that are portable, right? I think that's the best way to say it. Sound mixers one, cables three, based on obviously the site reconnaissance, right? Microphones maybe four, right? Depending on how big your team is. From the programming side, log sheet, live reads, two copies of each. Marketing or operations team will have tables and chairs, perhaps maybe two tables, five chairs there. Branding would like some roller banners, a media wall to sit behind, so the presenters can sit in front of and they can sit behind. It's a good background, nice backdrop. Tablecloths, bean bags, branded carpets, teardrop banners, sound bags as well. Um, and novelties, maybe some goodie bags or t-shirts, first aid kit in case something goes wrong. Uh, and per diem, I mean, well, it's just, let's say about 8 vehicles, one OB van, one minibus vehicle, and one sedan vehicle, depending on who it is that needs to get there and who needs to get back, right? Right, the planning for this, the recon, so I said doing reconnaissance for the OB and making sure that everyone understands that everyone's on the same page in terms of so it's the client, the person hosting, the place that's hosting. Again, that reconnaissance of knowing that if it rains or whatever it may be, we have a backup set up for that as well. The setup happens in advance. So in the morning, we test obviously the equipment. We do an off-air check, right? Make sure that everything is again in terms of the PA system works so that people can hear us. At the so at the location, whatever it is, right? Anyway, and then external events, just to kind of close that up on OB, and OB, I'm sorry, can attract significant attention, get people to be like, oh, what's happening here? It sounds pretty cool. DJs are great, the music's great, interviews are great. It's a vibe. Maybe I should start listening to the station, right? Or also, if they do know the station, familiar with the station, they probably tend to want to come and watch you if they've got the time and it's in their vicinity or their location. That is all. Quite a long lecture there. Please do example 7B in your textbook for homework. And I'm just going to stop that over there. I'll see you in the next one. Joy, cheers.